Well, there's breaking news coming in at this hour. This is breaking news coming in from the United States. There seems to be an incident of shooting near the White House. We're getting information of there being a shooting in Washington, D.C., where two National Guards members have in fact been shot. The two National Guard members, we're told, are currently critical and are undergoing treatment. Meanwhile, in the White House shooting, we've been told that the suspect is in custody and is suspected to be an Afghan national. Donald Trump has also reacted on this and said that the suspect was severely wounded. Meanwhile, the Washington mayor has also released a statement saying that they have been victims of a targeted shooting. Important information we're tracking from the United States at this hour. There seems to be an incident of shooting in Washington, D.C., where we're getting information that two National Guard members have been shot. Both of the Guard members, we're being told, are currently critical, and the suspect, we're being told, is an Afghan national who is currently in custody as per the White House. The U.S. President Donald Trump has also reacted on this and said that the suspect is severely wounded. Apart from this, we've also have a reaction coming in from the Washington mayor who said that we're victims of a targeted shooting. I'll walk you through the information once again. Now, two West Virginia National Guard members were shot in Washington on Wednesday, about 2 blocks away from the White House. Remember that this was in close proximity from the White House. The shooting unfolded at the 17th and 8th Streets, NW, 2 blocks away from the White House. We also have a reaction coming in from J.D. Vance. Listen in to what he had to say.
Apparently there was a shooting outside the White House just a couple of hours ago. And we're still learning everything. We still don't know the motive. There's a lot that we haven't yet figured out. But what we do know is that a couple of National Guardsmen were injured in the line of duty. And first of all, I want everybody who's a person of faith to say a prayer for those two National Guardsmen, that they're able to spend Thanksgiving with their families instead of losing their lives, because I understand they're still in pretty tough condition.
Well, on this, my colleague Priyanka is joining us on the telecast. Now, Priyanka, walk us through the details. We're getting to learn about an incident that occurred just 2 blocks away from the White House, in which 2 guards have been severely injured. Walk us through the details. What exactly happened?
Well, in Washington, D.C., what began as a routine afternoon just before the holiday weekend has quickly escalated into one of the most serious security incidents near the White House in recent years. 2 members of the West Virginia National Guard deployed to support federal security operations were shot just 2 blocks from the White House. Officials are calling it a targeted attack. The mayor called it a targeted attack. According to early responders, the gunman approached, rounded a corner, and then opened fire before being subdued and taken into custody. Now, the condition of the 2 Guard members remains uncertain. There was some conflicting information that emerged earlier in the day. Some reports suggested fatality and death. Others clarified that both soldiers were rushed to the hospital and are in critical condition. For now, authorities are treating this as an active investigation with no confirmed motive just yet. But the immediate response was very, very swift. Streets around the White House have been sealed off. Buildings have been evacuated and transport briefly disrupted, with flights at Ronald Reagan National Airport, that's just about 20 minutes driving distance from the White House, temporarily grounded. The federal government has since ordered an additional 500 National Guard personnel to Washington, D.C., reinforcing security as investigators just sort of piece together what happened. So tonight, the central question kind of remains unanswered. Who targeted these soldiers? Why? And could this incident signal a broader threat to federal security personnel? For now, Washington, D.C. is on alert. America's on alert. The investigation is intensifying, and the nation is glued to their news screens. Nation is watching pretty closely.
Right, absolutely, Priyanka. You rightly mentioned that the nation is watching pretty closely. We also have a reaction coming in from the FBI Director Kash Patel. Let's also quickly listen into what he had to say.
2 of our brave members of the National Guard and the Department of War were brazenly attacked in a horrendous act of violence. They were shot. They're in critical condition. As you can see behind me, we have assembled the full force of both the federal and state and local law enforcement agencies to bring bear all of our resources to make sure we find the perpetrators responsible for this heinous act. And make no mistake, they will be brought to justice. Since this is an assault on a federal law enforcement officer, President Trump has been informed. We've been in contact with the White House. We will shortchange the American public with no resources to make sure we find and safeguard our nation's capital right here in Washington, D.C., and bring anyone responsible for this heinous act of violence to justice.
Well, on this, I'm going to go back to my colleague Priyanka, who's joining us at the moment. Priyanka, walk us through the details. I also wish to understand from you, there are claims that this was done by an Afghan national. Is there any motive or something that's come to light so far?
Not so far. Like I said, the motive has officially not been on air yet. So we don't know officially what has happened. All leaders, including Kash Patel, have stressed that the situation is still under investigation. The motive for the shooting has not been publicly confirmed. Trump's call for more troops, however, while a show of support for security, also inflames this kind of existing debate about what the motive could be. But nothing has been confirmed yet.